Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Let's Stay Gamers, and welcome. So today we're taking a look at another beautiful ship from the Steam Workshop. Now, this is the Forager from Endless Space 2, and the detailing and design of this converted into Space Engineers format is absolutely beautiful. So as usual, we'll start ourselves on the exterior and then we'll have a look at the quite modest interior as well. So the first thing that caught my eye about this is just how thin this ship actually is. And what's great about a thin ship like this is it presents a very small target when you're shooting at it from the front. So that small cannon, oh well, I wouldn't say small, I'd say absolutely massive cannon, can do a maximum amount of damage without presenting a huge target. But coming down the side, the next thing I really like about this is how he's created the actual armor itself. He started with this sort of segregated section up at the front, so you've got these two pylons that segregate out, we've got the antenna in the middle, and you can see slightly, bit by bit, it gets larger and larger, creating this really nice sort of effect that both covers and protects the cannons from shots bottom and top. You can see there's a mixture of heavy armor and thinner armor in there as well. We've also got some ramp segments, just creating a lot of detail. And since it does step back itself, in some areas it steps actually down, so you can see he's created that sort of lower area. And then if you look underneath where the cannon is, you can see how he's created these sort of armoured walls around the centre that just add a little bit more detail to the cannon area and make it really stand out. I've talked about this before, but a simple bit of shadowing or placing a block like this one staggered away creates that little bit of depth from the distance that just creates an ultimate effect. Combining that with a darker colour like in this area, so I can only imagine this is some sort of charging coil or some sort of weapon component that helps the main cannon fire. But these are just two tires that have actually been grinded down to such a stage where they create a look like this. By adding some lights around the side, getting that reflection going, you create a very basic but a very beautiful look. Going a little bit further down here, by using some rotor ends and some armoured blocks that have been tilted, he's built some sort of vents. You can imagine the weapon fires and it vents out the excess gases from the sides here. Below that, we've got ourselves a number of turrets. Now, talking about staggering armor, once again in this lower section you can see we've got that brown and black armor that's been staggered off. From a distance it creates that really nice sort of depth of field. And up in this area it's been done once again with the grey and the white. Just a slight change in colour creates a lot of detail. Now, moving off into this segment, I really like the idea of this ball that has been inserted into the centre of the ship here. It just creates a little bit of something different than what you'd expect from these similar sort of designs, and it looks absolutely beautiful. You can see how he's rounded that off into that section. We've actually got the entrance to inside in that area there as well, and that round ball just gives off a lot of detail. Once again, another reused tyre, this time with a green light on the side. Now we're moving over to one of my favourite detailed areas, and we've got this round sort of section. In the past I've built round sections like this into a ship, and it really breaks up the standard sort of monotonous square lines that a ship has. But we've got to remember that the whole of the front of the ship's design has actually flowed into this part as well. We've actually got this wedge sort of shape that actually tucks into the middle here, just creating some beautiful lines and making it really stand out from other ships in this category. So as we come down to the back here, we've got the thrusters, and a lot of creators make a lot of mistakes when it comes to thrusters. They don't put enough detail in. They use the standard thruster block, and what they've done here is absolutely outstanding. You can see we've got the actual engine here, and he's put these little ring like pods as well, and he's started staggering the blocks up here, so it feels like this part of this thruster is not just the iron thruster that's tucked on the inside, but just a much larger, more powerful thruster than what's inside there. And he's done the same with this small lower thruster. He's actually got the same iron thruster that's in this one. Actually, it could be a little bit smaller, I'm not too sure. It looks pretty much the same, maybe it's just how it's staggered off in my sort of eyesight. And once again, some more cut down blocks down the side and some more weapons tucked away. We've also got a few of these anti-flak sort of cannons spaced around the ship for a little bit more detailing. And as we go into this lower area, you can see he's got them staircases in there, just adding that extra level of detail that really makes this ship stand out. Anyway, let's tuck ourselves inside and see what this design is all about. So heading inside the ship here, I'm going to spawn my character in, and we'll see if we can actually get ourselves our boots to attach to the current surface. There we go. And we're actually going to access this really cool airlock modification, and then we head up inside. So as we're heading up inside the ship here, you can see we enter into a sort of recreational room. We've got ourselves some space ping pong that, if the gravity's not turned on, could become an extremely strange game. And up here we've got the gravity generator that's actually been suspended above the jump drive. That I quite like the idea. A little bit of space pool, as well as the light in the sort of war room, so we can turn the lights down, and we can also add or disable lights as well. So let's just re-enable that so all the lights come back on, and we'll go up to the top deck. So the top deck actually takes us through this really nice catwalk section and this long corridor into the cryo base. So you can have all the crew and the cryo base stored in this area, and what I like is it feels like quite a reinforced area, so you're going to be quite safe aboard there if there is any battle and you do need to respawn yourself in. So let's go a little bit further down. So if we go around here, instead of going back down that shaft, we come into this corridor. Now this corridor is just a simple sort of design, but it really feels reinforced, and that actually brings us here to the control seat that is slap bang center in the middle of the ship. And we'll take this for a little bit of a test drive. Let's see how this thing falls. I'm expecting a really good acceleration, so we'll hit the gas, see what happens. We've got actually quite an average acceleration. Let's test our turning out. Okay, we're up to 60 meters a second, 70. Quite fast. Let's see our deceleration. A very fast deceleration. I like that indeed. That little ball at the bottom has 2 thrusters, so we can actually shift left and right. Very easy as well. But let's just check our gyroscope, see how easily we can turn this thing. Quite fast. And let's fire that massive cannon. This is going to be beautiful. So I'm going to turn it a little bit into the darkness here so you can see the muzzle flash. Oh, absolutely beautiful sounding. Would probably demolish a ship if it was in range. We've also got the jump drives. We've got the other things. Let's have a look. Access our jump drive. Let's have a look how this thing looks like when it's jumping. A little portal's popping up above at the front. Oh, I love that. I love the jump drive effect. It's so cool. And there we go. We've popped out and we've come back in. Really nice indeed. A beautiful ship, and I recommend you have a look in the description and check this one out for yourself. I really like the thin sort of design and nature of it, as well as that slanting armor. Anyway, I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you